I'm sure some of you've seen the news, some of you may not have seen the news or whatever, but basically on, was it Tuesday? Was it Monday? Tuesday night, Wednesday morning? Yeah, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so basically Beats or Kage or the other names that they used to have. So this is Nee. She does a lot of DJing at the moment. She used to do games when we went into DJing about a year and a half ago. She did really, really well. But she was good friends, really close with someone called Dan, or Daydreamer Dan. Basically, it came out that Dan had been abusive to Nee, abusive to Nee's dog, suicide baited, and among other things, which I'm only going to talk about the things that have been publicly available. Nee came out basically about the tweet on Tuesday evening and went live to talk about it. And the reason why we're talking about it is just because there's been a few people in the last 2 months. This is particularly just streaming, not overall, because there's a lot of bad people. I've been in situations like that before in the past. I don't really want to talk about it because it's whatever, it's whatever it is. But I've been in situations before where, I've been used and all that stuff, and it's not ideal. It's not fun. But there's been a few people, which the other two people I don't really know as much. Like Dan is the one that I probably know the most, but there's been other creators out there recently who's been called out by their behaviors and stuff. Some of you may know them. Dan was someone who was, I would say he was a good friend. Like, obviously, states, when you spoke online and stuff, but he was one who came to my stream like 2-3 years ago, and like, I think I tweeted, he's like, oh, I want to check out some new streams. And I tweeted him, and he came to stream like years ago, went, oh, I really like your vinyls on your wall. I think that's really cool. And, since then, we formed a friendship, and so with Nee as well, and spaces interlined and stuff. And I've been in their streams, they've been in my streams and stuff. And, but yeah, it was a big shock to hear. And I think for a lot of people, it was a big shock to hear, because I don't think people realized. And I think that's fine. I think it's okay to look at it and go, shit, I didn't think that person was like that, what he's done and had done for that long to Nee and others around him, or others around her. And it's like, again, Dan was a friend, obviously not anymore, but Nee is a friend, and Nee's someone I care a lot about. She's been another person who I've connected with, and it's just fucking heartbreaking what she went through and what she spoke about on stream and all the things that she's had to deal with. And it's tough, because when you're in those situations, because like, I know I'm not, everyone's feelings are valid, but I think when you're a bit older, you understand a bit better that when you're in these situations, it's so hard to think how it shouldn't be like that, because you get manipulated. It's not just one form of abuse, it's not just physical abuse, it's also mental abuse. It's controlling behavior. You get in a space where you're convinced that you're in the wrong, and you believe it. Or you're like, oh, I'm the one who's doing this. Or you decide to not see something or react to something, but you're like, oh, well, I'll pretend that didn't happen. And your mind will just blank it out, It's easy to say back, oh, you should have seen the signs. Oh, we saw it coming and stuff. But especially when you're in situations, you don't see it. You can't see it, because it's so hard, because especially when you're with someone, you want to care for them and think the best of them. And you will, as human nature, want to sometimes not see all the shit around there, sometimes you can't. There's been a few content creators who've been called out justifiably, because again, fucking believe victims, all right? Fucking believe victims, because so many times, I'm not on Twitter like properly, like I don't tweet in that, but I'm on there enough to check out stuff. Like sometimes I share gaming news in Discord and stuff, going, oh, there's always two sides to the story. And those types of people is the reason why people don't come out about abuse, about these situations, because they think they're not going to be believed on the internet. The internet is a horrible, horrible place at times. Not always, but a lot of times. There could be many out there who still, to this day, and continue to do this behavior on other people that we don't know about or see. And that's the worry. That's the reality of it. But I did want to speak about it just because, well, first of all, for me, Dan was a friend, Nee is a friend, and it was a big shock to hear about that. But I thought 1,000%. I 100% stand by Nee. I completely believe them, and I think because just fucking watch the VOD. You can just fucking watch the VOD, and I just hope Dan just learns and doesn't hurt anyone else. In fact, Nee was even like that. She was like, "I'm coming out because I don't want anyone else being hurt by him," and that's so fucking strong. It's not about cancel. It's not cancel culture. If they do something bad, they should be justified to be called out for it. I know that maybe a lot of people, because a lot of people did message me. A few people did DM me about it, because I had a bit of a vent, a quick vent, and people were like, is this about what I think it is? I was like, yes, it is. Tegan, I swear you could pull up a BoJack Horseman quote for every situation. BoJack Horseman is incredible. If you are not in the right headspace, don't watch it. It's amazing. Oh my God. It's funny. When you look at someone through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. That's a very good quote. I love that quote. It's funny. You look at someone through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. Very, very, very true. BoJack Horseman, my God, such a good show.